we're kids, grown-ups tell us to learn from other people's mistakes. They say every choice has consequences, good or bad. I believe that, the way you believe in guardrails on a highway. You don't really think about them until you hit one. I married for love at 18. Alex was 19, earnest, funny, the kind of young man who'd warm up your car on cold mornings. Our family surprised us by being supportive. Only my mom took me aside and said, "Think hard, honey. You've got time." I told her love didn't need time. The first 2 years were ordinary in the best and hardest ways. Good days, cranky days, little blow-ups and sweet makeups, like every young marriage. At 21, we had our daughter, Sophie. Alex was over the moon. He fussed over both of us, doing midnight bottle runs, folding tiny onesies like they were silk. Somewhere in the blur of feedings and laundry, my feelings got dull. Not gone, just dulled. I craved adult conversation and a sense that I was more than a schedule and a diaper bag. Alex was still kind, still steady, but I felt like we were roommates doing life maintenance. I told him I wanted to go back to work. He hesitated. Money wasn't the issue. Childcare and my exhaustion were. But he finally agreed and brought me on at his small firm. At first, I was the boss's wife. Smiles in the break room, careful small talk. Over time, I fit in. I liked the rhythm of it, the emails, the coffee, the sense of being useful to people who weren't related to me. That's when Eric showed up in my story. He was one of Alex's closest friends at work. Smart, charming, quick with a joke. He noticed things, the way I organized a project, the new haircut I thought no one would catch. I told myself it was harmless, just conversation. It felt good to be seen. Then Alex had to travel for a contract. 3 weeks. During those weeks, the line between friendly and reckless got thin. There were lunches that ran long, a dinner that turned into drinks, the kind of compliments that go past your ears and burrow into your chest. I told myself I was only starved for attention. I told myself a lot of things. 2 weeks in, I was in love, or what I called love. Looking back, it was infatuation, adrenaline dressed up as destiny. In the 3rd week, after work, Eric and I walked through the park, and he invited me to his place. I knew exactly where that road led. I went anyway. Afterward, on the drive home, I imagined Alex grilling me, seeing through me. He didn't. He asked where I'd been, and I said, "Out with the girls." He believed me. That trust, God help me, I used it like cover. For a couple of months, Eric and I met once or twice a week. And then something shifted. The rush faded, and real life kept standing there. My husband, my baby, a good man folding tiny clothes without complaint. I saw what I was doing. I saw who I was hurting. It was like waking up in a room you wrecked in your sleep. I told Eric it had to stop. Alex was out of town again, tying up the same deal. Eric said he understood, and then asked for one last time. I wish I had walked out. I didn't. We were still in his bedroom when the door opened. Alex stood there. In the next breath, he was on Eric, all shock turning to fury. I pulled at Alex, sobbing, terrified he'd do something none of us could take back. When he finally stopped, he staggered, stared at me, and said, "I just lost my friend, and the most precious thing I had." Then he left. 2 days later, the hospital called. Car accident. Concussion. Broken bones. When I ran to see him, his sister met me in the hallway and said, "Don't come near him." I went home with my heart thrashing in my chest. Those were the darkest 2 weeks of my life. I won't dress it up. I thought about ending everything. A family friend, Ethan, Alex's younger brother, showed up, sat me down, and said, "If you feel this bad, try imagining how he feels. And think about Sophie. Shame isn't medicine, but it can be a wake-up call." Our divorce was quick. Papers signed. Rings off. Silence where our life had been. Sophie stayed mostly with Alex at first. I could see her whenever I wanted. His family was ice. Mine wasn't much warmer. People who had once praised our young love now spoke my name like a cautionary tale. Still, I kept showing up for Sophie. Playdates, bedtime stories, hair bows that never sat quite right because her dad had done them. Sometimes she'd ask me to stay the night, and I'd sleep beside her tiny body, grateful for any scrap of ordinary. Alex and I barely spoke. When we did, it was logistics, drop-offs, pediatrician, who had the favorite stuffed bunny. As Sophie grew, her questions did, too. Why don't you and Daddy talk? Why don't we do things all together? You can't hand a 3-year-old the words affair and betrayal. You can only try to spare her heart. For her sake, Alex began to talk to me again. Not much, not friendly, but civil. It felt like a window cracked in a sealed room. The night before her 4th birthday, I was tucking Sophie in when I heard Alex in the hallway asking what she wanted for her party. She said, "I want Mommy and Daddy to live together." I heard Alex's voice catch. I pressed my hand over my mouth so I wouldn't make a sound and cried in the guest room until my head ached. The party was a parade of family. There were side-eyed glances and sharp little comments. When one relative said, "What's she doing here after everything?" Alex answered, steady as stone, "It's our daughter's birthday. We show up for her." That sentence was a gift I didn't deserve. After everyone left, we cleaned up, still in the quiet dance of co-parents who know each other's rhythms. There was a bottle of something on the counter, and we told ourselves we were only toasting our kid. I woke up in his bed. Happiness and dread fought inside me. At breakfast, the silence was thick. Alex finally said, "Last night was a mistake." I cried, not because he was cruel. He wasn't, but because he was honest. I told him I was sorry for every ounce of pain I'd caused him. He put his hand on mine and said, "I still love you. I don't trust you. I don't know if I ever will. And I'm scared of going through that again." It broke me open. The strangest part was his kindness in that moment, comforting the person who had hurt him most. That night, Sophie crawled into our laps and fell asleep, and the 3 of us dozed on the couch, a small island of peace in a rough sea. Life didn't transform overnight. Trust doesn't regrow like weeds. It grows like oak, slow, if at all. I did the only things you can do when you've broken something you can't replace. I stayed accountable. I went to counseling. I was where I said I'd be, when I said I'd be there. I kept showing up, not with promises, but with patterns. Alex softened, inch by inch. He let me help make a home again, not as his wife, not yet, but as the mother of his child and someone trying to be worthy of a second chance. A year later, I had twins, a boy and a girl. Alex is their father. We still haven't remarried. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. What I have is a family I almost threw away and a daily vow to earn what I'm given. I'm not telling this for sympathy. I know who I was and what I did. I will carry it as long as I live. I'm telling it so someone younger or older, it doesn't matter, might step back from the edge I went over. The thrill is brief. The wreckage is not. If you're lonely in your marriage, say it out loud. Get help. Take a walk. Phone a friend. Do anything but light a match you can't unstrike. We teach our kids that choices have consequences. We forget that sometimes, until we're the ones standing in the rubble. Learn from me. Protect the people you love. Some mistakes you can't take back, but you can spend the rest of your life doing the next right thing.